Aesop's Fables. Aesop did not write down his fables. He told many people the stories and they remembered them. It was nearly 200 years later before all the stories were collected together and published. The fables were not published in English until the 15th century, but since then they have been read by people all over the world. Their moral lessons are as true today as they were 2,500 years ago when Aesop was alive. The Fox Without a Tail. One day, a fox ran into a trap. He pulled and pulled to get away from it. At last he did, but his tail came off. It was left in the trap. He did not like the way he looked without a tail. "All the other foxes will make fun of me," he said. "What can I do?" "I know, I will make them think it is better not to have a tail." So he said to the other foxes, "You would look better without tails. What use are they anyway? Look at me, I can run very fast because I have no tail." But one old fox said, "You say that only because you have lost your own tail. That is why you do not want us to have tails. But we like our tails, and we shall keep them, thank you." The moral of this story is that wise people are not easily fooled. The Shepherd Boy and the Wolf. Once there was a boy who lived on a farm. Every day he had to take his father's sheep to a hill a long way off. He did not like being there on his own. One day he said to himself, "I will call Wolf, Wolf. Then everyone will think that a wolf has come to eat my sheep. People will run to help me. It will be fun and they will find out that there is no wolf after all." So he did call, "Wolf, Wolf," and everyone ran to help him. When they came, he did not thank them. He just said, "There is no wolf, it was only a joke. Now you will all have to go back home again." He did this 3 times. Each time he told them that there was no wolf. Then one day the wolf did come. "Help! Help! The wolf is here!" called the boy. But everyone said, "We know that there is no wolf. He just calls us for fun. There is no danger. This time we will not go." So they did not go, and the wolf killed all the sheep. The moral of this story is that if we tell lies, no one will believe us when we speak the truth. The Boastful Traveler. A man once went to a place he had never been to before. It was a long way off and he was there for a year. When he went home, he wanted to talk about it all the time. Everyone said, "Why is he always telling us about that place? We don't want to know about it." They asked him, "Why did you come back if it was so nice?" "I came back to tell you about it," said the man, and he went on talking. "In that place," he said, "all the men can jump well. One day we wanted to see who could jump the best, so we all had a try. My jump was the best. I am a very good jumper. If you had been there at the time, you would have seen how good I am." "We do not have to go all that way to see you jump," said one of the men. "You can let us see how well you can do it here. So jump now." The moral of this story is that people who boast are soon found out. The Crow and the Fox. One day, a big black crow found some cheese. "I will fly up into this tree with it," she said. "I want to eat it now." A fox came by and saw the bird. He saw the cheese as well. He, too, wanted to eat the cheese. He went round and round the tree while he thought how he could get the cheese. Then he said to the crow, "You look very nice. If you can sing very nicely as well, I think you must be queen of all the birds." The crow was very pleased. She liked to be called a queen. "Yes, I can sing," she said. But as she said this, the cheese fell from her beak. Down to the ground it fell. The fox picked up the cheese and ran away. "You may be queen of the birds, you may look nice and you may sing well, but you do not think very well," he said, as he ran off. The moral of this story is that we should beware of people who say nice things they do not mean. Who will bell the cat? Once some mice lived in a house. A big cat lived in the house too. Every day she liked to eat some of the mice. At last they said to one another, "This must stop, or soon we shall all be eaten. Let us all think what we can do." After a time an old mouse said, "I know what we can do. One of us must put a bell on the cat. The bell will tell us when she is near and when we must stay at home. After she has gone away, we can come out again." "Yes, that will be a wise thing to do. Let us do that," they all said. "But which one of us will put the bell on her?" said the old mouse. "I am too old. I cannot run very fast, so I don't think I can do it." "So are we," said some of the others. "And we are too little," said the baby mice. In the end, no one would do it. So the bell was never put on the cat, and she went on eating the mice. The moral of this story is that some things are more easily said than done. The Crow and the Swan. A crow once saw a swan and said to her, "How nice you look! I wish I were white like you. I do not like being black." He saw that the swan was always in the water. "If I get in the water, I may become white too," he said. So he got in the water, but he was still black when he came out. "Let me think," he said. "If I stay in the water, that may make me white." Before the crow went into the water, he could fly about to look for food. He always found something to eat. He did not like fish, and he could find nothing else to eat in the water. So he did not live very long, nor did he become white. The moral of this story is that you must think well before you copy other people. The Wolf and the Lamb. A big, bad wolf saw a little white lamb and wanted to eat her. He did not eat her at once. He tried to think of a good excuse for killing her. Then people would not think he was a bad wolf. So he said to the lamb, "Last year you called me very bad names." "But I am only a baby. I was not born last year," said the lamb. "Well, then you ate my dinner," the wolf said next. "But I could not eat your dinner," said the lamb. "I am too little. I can only drink." "That's it. You drank my water," said the wolf. "But I can only drink my mother's milk," said the lamb. "Is that so?" said the wolf. "But I can eat, and I'm going to eat you. I am going to do it now because I want my dinner at once." With that, he jumped on the little lamb, and that was the end of her. The moral of this story is that people who want to do something bad can always find an excuse. The Lion and the Hare. Once a lion found a hare. He was just going to eat her when a stag ran by. "That stag will make me a bigger dinner," he said. So he let the hare go and ran after the stag. But the stag could run very, very fast, and soon it got right away. When the lion saw that he could not catch the stag, he said, "I will go back for the hare." But when he came to the place where the hare had been, he found that she had gone. "I should have had her for my dinner when I first saw her," said the lion. "I wanted too much, and now I have nothing." The moral of this story is that it is sometimes wiser to be content with what you have. Brother and sister. Once there was a man who had 2 children, a boy and a girl. The boy was good looking, but the girl was not. One day they found a mirror and for the first time saw what they looked like. The boy was very pleased. He said to his sister, "How handsome I am! I look much nicer than you." The girl did not like what he said and gave her brother a push. "Go away," she said. Their father saw what was happening and said to the boy, "You must always be good, as well as look good." And to the girl he said, "My dear, if you help everyone and do your best to please, everyone will love you. It will not matter that you are not as good looking as your brother." The moral of this story is that it is better to be good than to be just good looking. The Goose That Laid the Golden Eggs. Once an old man and an old woman had a goose. Their goose was not like other geese because its eggs were different. They were made of gold. Every day the goose laid a golden egg for the old man and the old woman. They sold the eggs for a lot of money. But the more money they had, the more they wanted. They said, "If our goose lays golden eggs, she must be made of gold. So let us cut her open and get out all the gold at once. Then we will have more money." So they killed the goose, but found no gold. When their goose was cut open, they saw that she was just like any other goose. And after that, there were no more golden eggs. So they did not get any more money. They had nothing left in the end. The moral of this story is that a greedy man can lose all he has. The Wind and the Sun. One day the wind said to the sun, "Look at that man walking along the road. I can get his cloak off more quickly than you can." "We will see about that," said the sun. "I will let you try first." So the wind tried to make the man take off his cloak. He blew and blew, but the man only pulled his cloak more closely around himself. "I give up," said the wind at last. "I cannot get his cloak off." Then the sun tried. He shone as hard as he could. The man soon became hot and took off his cloak. "I have won," said the sun. "I made him take his cloak off." The moral of this story is that kindness often gets things done more quickly than force. The Trees and the Axe. Once a man wanted to cut down some trees to make a house, but he could not use his axe because it had no handle. So he went to the top of a hill where there were many trees and said to them, "May I take a tree from this hill?" But he did not tell them why. The trees said to one another, "Let us give him a very little tree. Then he will go away and not ask us for anything more." So they gave him a little tree, and the man went home. When he got there, he made a handle for his axe. Then he went back to the hill and began to cut down the other trees. "If we had not let him have the little tree, he could not have cut us down," they said. But it was too late to stop him. The moral of this story is that you must be careful when you give way over small things, or you may have to give way over big ones. The end.